that you have from your last wasted reincarnation?
No, I don't want to waste them. What do I got to do?
Well, you've met your points quota. We just need to see your best attempt at a failing atheist. He's offensive, really. His hypocrisy, his stupidity, his lack of awareness. His name's Brian. His name's Brett Broccoli. Is Brian O'Shea not up to the task of taking on the one known as Brett Broccoli?
Yeah. When I'm done with this job, we'll get together, Mr. What's your name again?
I'm not.
Hackibus. Hackibus.
Well,
I wouldn't come if there was a fleshlight of my own asshole.
Whoa. Yeah. So after this job, just send me the details, DM me the details, and I'll get right on.
Okay, you're going to go to your YouTube search bar. You're going to type in Brett Broccoli, and you will look for the one that has an actual broccoli emoji for the last name. I hate to say it. Don't make me say it again.
Mr. Hackibus, do you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in hell?
Yes, your mother.
How old are they? My mother's not dead. She's still here.
Oh, I know. That's why she moves much better.
Oh.
But she won't forever. Then she'll be more fun.
So how old's your girlfriend down there?
How old is your mother?
She's very young, 75.
Yes, young indeed.
76.
We're still putting it to Marie Antoinette. She had a stock built for horses not to crush her, you know.
She brought her horses with her.
Oh, everywhere, including the bedroom. Let them eat cake. You can relate, can't you, Mr. Holstein, Mr. Lubass Holstein, as they know at the farm raves?
Yes, I make all my slaves eat cake.
You have slaves?
Yes, I have a few of them.
Are they Caucasian or minority?
They're Irish, so they don't really.
Slobs.
But I mean, the minorities are out there. Don't waste good, free roaming minorities. That's what we changed colors on people for.
You changed the colors?
No, you changed the terms.
No.
Guys, because the slaves term came from Slavs. They were the first slaves.
Oh, sure. Potato, Mr.
Yeah,
Small
okay.
Wizard.
So
Mr.
keep
Word
on
Wizard.
going with your
the word wizard, all about potato. I'm saying the one true race was always Caucasian wizard. It was us who added colors to get to your lizard brain.
Sure.
Fight more sin.
Sure.
Needed a couple thousand years of sun on the motherland. You know, evolution takes its course.
So
Hey,
what's the
this is my friend from college over here. He's a great guy. Party animal. Just feed him after midnight.
Hackibus, what's the big boss into? Like, what's his thing?
Evil. Denying the creator, lusting after power greater than the creator.
Does he have a particular thing like he enjoys? Like, Brian wants to
again, the great man the great man down below doesn't deny the creator. He admits the creator.
He needs him in relativity. Why would there be? You're not one of these Satan worshippers that don't believe in God.
No, I'm just trying to point out how you babble just like Jack. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, but my job is to mislead and misdirect and stray from paths. You are just playing into it. Good work. Yeah, we got a guy down there that does look like you. Yeah. Manson.
Probably my daddy.
Nah, he's probably descendant, but your forefathers is much better about doing LSD and getting others to do his bidding. That's why he has quite the comfortable spot. We love to hear him rant. He's got good lines. Like the young Slice that used to visit him in prison. Fucking. Claimed she would marry him. Yeah, she just wanted to keep his body and put it in a museum when he died. And like he said, it was a crazy, stupid bitch idea because the joke was on her. He was never going to die. And he won't. Neither will you, wizard.
Are these guys to your left or right, whatever it is on your end, are they friends of yours?
I need Brian O'Shea to sign on the line, receive his fucking fleshlight of his own asshole.
Hey, Brian O'Shea, could you just sign the paperwork so we can get on
Oh,
with this?
Mr. Ventura. Mr. Ventura, it's great to see you. It's an honor. Love you and Predator.
Please. Mr. Hecubus, please. You're a bit hammy for a social
worker. I was starstruck. I admit I was starstruck at the.
Yeah.
Remember old Painless?
Yeah,
he ain't got time to bleed.
It's almost like, you're a social worker, but you're like born for the spotlight almost.
I just long for the death that never comes. And clients like Brian O'Shea remind me of that every time.
We might have to get you a bit doing the news or something.
Seems to be a Lumatomi's test. He's quite the
you're familiar with that creature.
We're not sure which side he's on yet.
Was it the methamphetamine that creature was using, or the romp with a drunk 17-year-old that got you on his radar? Or him on your radar, rather.
What gets people on our radar is not doing what we want. Like, take the Talcatian one, for instance. All we have to do is let him say heresy and falsities, and we supply him with his bliss feeling. And he feels that the Creator is guiding him. I can tell you that, and it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I suspected that, because I was always like, yeah, but what are you doing? And he's like, nothing. That's the whole point. And I go, I don't know. Something about this doesn't feel right.
Nothing. Yes, the Creator wants you to do nothing. See? Spread the word. Spread the good news. Here's the thing. Illumitomi has his strong points, and he recently posted his debut video where he just mocks and ridicules the one you know as Toilet Bowl Birth. And he's quite the benefit to us as well with his judgment and Bible beating. We love it. It wins no one to Christ. It gives him the illusion of higher ranking among his peers. He's only had 3 years of the religion. Look how far he's enthralled with it.
Yeah, check that video out. I give it a glowing review.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect too. All these guys that have become Christians in the last few years, as opposed to somebody who's been living that life all of his fucking life.
Yes, like Illumitomi. You wouldn't be referring to yourself.
Both of us, Illumitomi, because I see how you've lived that life.
What do you mean, us?
And then we have people like Jack and Drew and Toilet Bowl Earth that became Christians all of a sudden in the last few years. And in that Christianity, all of a sudden, they got all the knowledge to tell other people how to be Christians, whether it be Greek Orthodox or otherwise. And then,
have you heard any knowledge from them?
And say that you pick and choose your verses in the scripture. They sit there, pick and choose their verses in the scripture.
Yes, cherry picking, like the Me Member Berry. I love that show. Next season they're going to bring in strawberries. Nah, you don't get it. You don't care. My kids love it. Good stuff. We just let the silence wash over humanity.
Oh,
Tommy, I remember. Do you remember?
No,
Bro, what the fuck?
I remember.
It doesn't even say the catchphrase. You're saying meme. Me member.
I remember.
Me member. You obviously don't me member. I saw the me member.
Yeah, please stay muted.
I mean, you have to imagine that the ice skating legs aren't sticking out from the bottom, but it's quite the show.
Brian O'Shea, are you gonna sign this paperwork so we can move on, or what?
It just takes a quick slice of the finger. It only hurts for an instant, but then an eternity. Or you could just not sign, still owe your soul, not receive your butthole fleshlight, in which case you must be most impressive against the Canadian atheist.
I got to check with my counsel, Word Wizard.
Yes, I am your counsel. You sent us the request, Mr. O'Shea. Are you getting cold butthole?
Bro, it's a yes or no. He wants to get out of here just as much as... Oh,
yes,
does he? Get him out of here.
We work very contractually. There's been a sandglass timer running that Brian O'Shea we would gladly waste your time to receive a free soul. So if you want to sign this, I guess I'll hand it over. You can sign.
Okay, so if you sign on the dotted line, be sure to read the dotted line, folks.
I'm too stupid to figure that out.
Well, that was again, Hecubus. He makes the rounds every once in a while to the metaversal asylums. Just kind of keep up with some paperwork, some administrative side of things. I'm not even going to get into it, O'Shea, about the whole fleshlight deal. It's just another thing on the list, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, if you want to go to war and who's got the better looking butthole, I don't know. It might be one.
Yeah, I'm not willing to
Can
take
we
on
not
that
go here?
challenge.
I mean, once you see my butthole, you might know why I want a fleshlight.
All right.
Recreation.
That's not a
Yeah,
fair
no,
challenge.
I'm going to go no contest on that.
Yeah, you bleached your asshole to make it look better, so that's no contest.
That's slander. You don't have any evidence that I've ever bleached anything down there.
So, Christy Lee Dahl says every time she laughs at one of Tommy's jokes, she feels so disgusted with herself. Now, I agree with that, and I've learned to move past that. But since you want to bring it up, you don't feel equally as disgusted at yourself of telling me for months that you love that boyfriend you're monogamous with, and then telling Zetetic Warrior to inseminate you this morning? Did you tell that boyfriend of yours that? Right. I'm on to him, Cleveland. See how they are? One slightly good-looking audiologist living in his mother's basement will set a whole happy monogamous relationship off course. If I've seen it once, I've seen it over and over again. Disgusting behavior in a chat box. That's only acceptable when speaking to me or about me. Your thoughts, expert panel, on any of that? On
People are disgusting.
Right. And not as monogamous as they'd like you to believe. Is
Stupid
what I've
pieces
come to
of
learn.
shit.
Right. Ian is joining us from We Are Awake TV. Hello? Oh,
Yeah,
is that? Yeah, it's Brian O'Shea, world famous comedian.
I find her behavior disgusting, unless it's with me.
Now she's saying she's in love. It's not possible to be truly in love with a man who says he's my beta, doesn't stand for rights, freedom, principles, and lives in his mother's basement. That's not true love. You're in something else, ma'am. You need Jeebus. That's what that is.
Yeah, and picture
Get those
making love.
dirty thoughts out of your head.
Picture making love to Zetetic Warrior. He's gonna have the big close face. He's gonna be close faced all the time, just like when he's got his face in the camera. You're making love.
This
He's gonna be like,
filthy,
"Man."
disgusting, haram infidel says now she's going to be inseminated by both Ions Zetetic Warrior. How disgusting.
Fascinating.
Although I'm slightly open to that.
How about triplets?
All right, yeah, no.
Get a little bit of OTW news, DNA in there.
Yeah, no, there's only room for one other man to beta cuck with, and that's my beta.
OTW splooge.
Yeah, something about audiologists. I have a thing for that as well. That's why I can recognize it.
Isn't there a law against Downsy Mongoloid people having children? And then it wasn't fucking Zetetic Warrior in a psychiatric unit. No, I've been here for 7 years.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny calling me a mongoloid. You could have children maybe, but it's really hard to give birth in a Taurus because the seats they don't go all the way back.
Oh, you'd
They're
be
only
surprised.
they're about a 3/4 on that.
I've got a whole fucking, fucking
Brian
operation.
O'Shea has never lived inside, is the word we're getting. He's never actually lived inside of a 4-wall dwelling.
Oh, now they're gonna say I've never been inside other things. Been inside a butthole flat.
He's never been inside of 4 walls or vaginal walls. That's the report we're getting.
I really like the planet Uranus.
You know, why does this broadcast always take a dive right down into the dumps? You know, we're always on to something, and then next thing you know, Hecubus shows up. First of all, Brian O'Shea started it. That's why Hecubus showed up to begin with, because Brian O'Shea was here. Filth.
Filth. What's wrong with falling in love with your own butthole?
Numbers have tanked, bro. That's the thing about Tom, you know? So you never really know what you're going to get. Sometimes it hits, and a lot of times it just tanks.
Numbers have not tanked. You have not jogged around the block yet.
Mitchell's live. I'm sure that's him telling me that on another account. Let's see.
Who's this guy with the mustache? Just the 1,000-yard stare. Looks familiar.
Stupid pieces of stash.
Whoa.
Oh, he's restreaming us. I don't know what he's up to. Folks diverting me over to Mitchell's channel for some reason. I don't know what's happening. He's just restreaming us. Where the hell were we? Oh, yeah, that's right. I never planned to do a panel today, and it happened, and now here we are. We're 2.5 hours in. I guess I should do a regular broadcast. Are you ready for that, Brian O'Shea? Where's my moose creature? Where's my producer person?
I feel like there's going to be a lot of women at this job I'm about to go on. If you want to, get enamored like you did with Monica, the way you leaned in.
I wasn't enamored with her, bro.
Smiling.
That's you. That's you. Just because I was vibing in the moment and naturally charming doesn't mean you got to keep acting like I'm you, bro. Every time you start lighting up around these women, you can't get away from them. You start traveling to 5 states away, trying to get up under them, right? I wasn't doing that. You know, we were vibing a little bit. She's got her own Paul at home. What don't you get? She's got her own Paul at home, and she was vibing heavy with me because the Paul she was talking to that day was better than the one she had at home.
Vibing with me,
and that's okay.
And you immediately call her a goofy bitch.
Yeah, no. Well, she'd have to be if she was vibing with you. What other way could I see it? She wasn't vibing with you, but if she was, I would immediately say she's a goofy bitch. What else would I say?
Yeah, well, sorry that all these
you're very
bitches.
Low vibe, man. You're low vibing.
Low vibing.
Yeah, like your highest vibe I've seen you with that woman was you talking about me and talking the shit that I tell you. That was your highest vibe.
Wow.
That's the closest she got to you. And still, it was feet away.
Yeah.
You didn't see when me and her were talking? We were just talking. You're putting on a whole performance there. You're begging her to give you contact information, even though she told you multiple times she got a guy at home. We were just talking about life. And she was all up in the screen, wanted to jump through the screen.
While she's rubbing up on me. And then when you got
she was leaning on you. You were in the way. Right?
Oh.
You were like a support system, right?
Right.
So she was leaning on you and supporting herself on you like a mere object so she could have a real conversation.
Right. And then when I got her to laugh, it was a creepy because she was scared. She was like nervous laugh. But when you got her to laugh, it was all genuine and loving. I see how. Okay. But yet she continually comes on my stream, continues to talk to me.
You're doing it
Hey,
again.
Can we get back to the right to travel?
Yeah, whatever.
I have
He's
a
doing
question
it
here.
again. He's doing it again. Okay, I got to address him because he's really insane and he needs our help. So I'm going to help him. She's
Okay.
not coming on your stream. You're hanging out and pretty much living in the lobby of a Planet Hollywood. Okay, so she works there and she has to deal with you.
Well,
And you have a camera on you when she comes over to deal with you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's probably slow in there. She's like, is this motherfucker ever going to buy something?
Yeah, and two, women are just like that. They want to go over to a bunch of beta simps and get hit on to feel good about themselves and get fake self-esteem. So they're like, look at this beta boy over there talking to a screen with no viewers, doing a horrible broadcast. I know he's enamored with me. Let me go over there, put myself around him, and get some kind of validation for the day. Why do you think women take jobs like that? They want to get hit on by beta boys all day and then go home to Pauly boy. That's what she said.
Yeah, well,
keeps their self-esteem high for when they're dealing with somebody who's going to check them on some real shit, right? They go, but the beta boys hit on me all day long and simped over me. Yeah, but I don't. So get to it.
Yeah.
What are we?
Yeah,
what's the understanding?
Yeah, but the beta boys didn't make her feel. You see when you said her body language? Because I hit her with the real shit about how she's with a low value dude, and I hit her with the real shit. Then she, you know what I'm saying? You saw how her body language was.
Brian, what is low and high value to you? Because then I'm gonna do like my life coach Talcott, where he failed 4 of his own assessments, all 4. So you tell me what high or low value is first, and I'm gonna ask you if you're that, and then you got to answer honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably honestly say I'm probably not high value at the moment, but I got some potential.
Well, again, there's probably dual jurisdiction. There may be levels in life with everybody where they're high value in certain ways. You're willing to say what you are thinking and feeling. There's value to that, right? So there's probably a list of values, and there's probably dual jurisdiction. There's in the world and of it, and then there's otherworldly value, if you will. So I think maybe true value is a little bit of a mixture of both, because the way I see it, otherworldly value gets to worldly value. That's what I've noticed in my own experience. So again, it's not cart before the horse. It begins otherworldly, the true way, the way I see it. And it, what do they say? A means to an end. They say the end justifies the means. And I say, no, the beginning justifies the means. Because I know who and what I am and where I've come from, and I know what I've been and who I am now. And that justifies my value and the value I get in the world, if that makes sense. So I'm not an end justifies the means person. I'm a beginning justifies the means. The end is a result of how I've lived. So, again, I'm not trying to be hard on you. I'm just saying it would be good for us to be critical with ourselves, to avoid putting on an ego, to try to feel secure and strong, or doubting ourselves to feel like we're little to no value, right? You just got to be honest with yourself. Here's where my value is. Here's where it's lacking. We could up that game, and then we got a more fuller picture of true value, so to speak. So, yeah, bro, I mean, nobody can deny it. They could talk all that self-righteous shit. Money's the devil, like Talcott. I love these bitch-ass motherfuckers who never fucking done without everything, right, for any kind of period of time, and they want to talk about money's the enemy. You want to be the broke-ass bitch going out everywhere, having people pay for you, or you can't go nowhere, right? You can't get nothing. You can't do what you need to do. You can't take care of your own affairs. If you can't build it and create it, then I don't want to hear the money sucks, because 3/4 of motherfuckers out here are using it every single day. No, it's everybody. 3/4. What am I talking about? 99% of folks. You know, maybe the Amish people, even they're probably doing it. So, you know, money is an expression of value. If you can't produce that and create that, either you have little to no value or you don't know how to direct your value properly. In which case, there's something to learn there. Your thoughts on any of this, Brian O'Shea? I love these like fireside talks with Brian O'Shea and I. We really kind of get down to it.
There's a question for you in the chat, OTW, Jeep Girl.
I love. Didn't he just ask me a direct
Hey,
question?
Hey, hold on. Are you producing now? Penile Power?
I mean,
Like,
do you
think that I don't read the chat and that I wouldn't know to like tell OTW about something if that's what I was looking for? Or is that what you're looking for?
Well, did you, sir?
No, I didn't, because I wasn't looking for that. But you are.
Right.
Hey, OTW, there's someone in chat talking to you and asking questions. You're just right in the middle of whatever I'm doing. Who knows what even I'm doing? I get it. You know, I'm talking to Brian O'Shea about almost nothing.
Well,
it's horrible life and lifestyle. No, I get it. You're producer Penile Power now. Because you were so great before when you unmuted to fucking make some noises over us, and then Brian O'Shea sat there and was like, I don't even know what you just did.
It was member berries, man. You never seen that episode of South Park? I guess that's good if you don't watch South Park. So.
Yeah, no, bro. I don't watch cartoons typically. I got to be real with you.
I mean,
I'm
I don't know.
Fucking man. I know. A
few years ago.
Yeah, no. Typically, I don't watch cartoons. I mean, you know, there's some funny stuff on South Park. I won't say that there isn't, but like for me to know all the characters and all the episodes and everything that happened, you know, I may not know every Pokemon character either.
I'm not gonna lie, the pandemic special though, that episode was pretty.
If Brian O'Shea was a Pokemon, which one would he be? Let's get down to some real shit.
Oh man, fuck.
Man. We know what Jack Talcott would be. Squirtle.
I'd be Pika-Blue. Blowjobs?
Well, obviously Scott to be would be Snorlax.
Right, the most obese animal that they have in that universe by far.
I feel like OTW would be Mewtwo. I could be overshooting him, giving him too much credit, but
Brian O'Shea would be Ash Ketchum.
Like, we know any of these characters. You got to describe the characters. I don't know any of these names, you freaks.
But we'd be more relative to Ash Ketchum.
I don't know if I'd give him that much. I don't know about that.
All right, let's move on. So, Brian O'Shea, do you have anything that you want to address? I think I'm going to end it, and then I'll set the regular broadcast, and we could reconvene. I need my Moose Creature producer person to be available. And I think I'm probably going to do... Exactly? We're not going to get into it, okay? It's big things. You're hating. You're hating on the Moose producer. Is what it is.
No. Just
yeah, you're hating. Because we're doing big things. You know, he was doing big things with Talcott. Now he's doing big things with me, and you're hating on him. I see what you're up to.
I guess he was doing some stuff there with Talcott. I'll give him that. Left behind some good intro.
I'm probably going to do like 30 minutes of Illumitami, too, just to really, you know, test everyone's inner space today.
30-minute timer?
Yeah, just to test everyone where they're at.
Benton claims he started the timer bit.
I know everyone keeps claiming they start everything, but like they keep forgetting they can't start anything because I started everything. And I'm not being egoic. It's just like that's why I'm God of all media. If you go back a year and a half ago, whatever it is by now, I lose track of time. When I started the panel situation, and then even Yurt said, no, he didn't hear of anyone doing this. And definitely not the way I do it. That's impossible. But just paneling at all, really, it's just unknown until the God of all media flourished, meteoric rise, and now everyone seems to be.
What else you said you started?
Wasn't finished.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you know, I pioneered the idea of the slave tank. You know, putting someone up front and making everybody. I guess you could say he might have. I don't know. I'd have to check. We have to check the records because I could have swore I did a timer bit at one point. But I may have never done the actual timer bit. I did a variation of that. But again, I just gave him credit. I said the Bentonian Tommy timer because that may be where it's more well-known now. You know? You were saying
breaking news. Just so you know, when you get your notoriety, they don't give a fuck still. Amon Bundy was just live and they cut his stream. They don't give a fuck who you are. If you're out there spitting the truth and trying to expose their fucking bullshit, they're going to cut your streams. Until you
know what else you said you started, Paul? Go ahead, Wizard. So you learn, Wizard. Sorry, go ahead.
So until you learn how to propose this stuff yourself in your own journal and present it at the proper times, they're going to keep doing what they're going to do. This is the importance of education. I yield.
You know what else you said you started, Paul? You said you came up with the whoa. The whoa was introduced when Mimi was orgasming during one of our conversations, and I had the fancy headphones on. I said, whoa.
no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that because it was introduced before that, and then you did it that day during that clip, and then that's where it became what it is in your mind. All right.
I don't know.
Whoa. Whoa is kind of like pop culture. It's like Cap.
Yeah, no. It's just, again, it's like everything. If you just listen to O'Shea, if you go back and watch from the beginning and then watch Brian O'Shea and watch me, it's the same me, but a different Brian O'Shea, and it's 3/4 of me and my lingo that I use the way I do. It's all monkey see, monkey do. Everybody's like on some level, nothing's completely original. But he's now completely adopted my personality and lingo when he's on broadcast.
Whoa.
It's really creepy, actually. It's like actually being his daddy, right? I always say that, kind of tongue-in-cheek bit, non-bit, because there's a lot of spiritual children who need my help and leadership, and I'm okay with that. But Brian O'Shea's actually like my son, where he's growing into me, speaking like me, walking like me, acting like me, trying to broadcast like me. Horrible emulation. But
Growing into you.
Right.
I like that.
You're trying to merge with me in a way. It's like a forced merge.
Growing inside of you.
Yeah, like me and Talcott was organic merge. Yours is more a forced merge. It's like
all my sexual encounters.
Don't make it gay again. This is the thing you always do. You see, okay. Okay, let's go final words, because I feel like every time you speak, people leave, and the panel's pretty low energy right now.
Thanks for having me, Paul. I'll see you later. Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.
Thank you, Louis. See, that's why I've had to learn to love different people who maybe, learn to like, I guess, or work with, because I have to love everyone. That's what's scary. And it almost comes naturally at this point because I practice that. But I've had to learn to like even Lumatami or learn to work with him, because at least he'll just ramble. It's like I can't get a mix, with anyone of like not talking at all or just talking at all the wrong times or over me. And I don't know how to remedy that. Maybe it's a me problem. I'm looking for something that isn't going to happen the way that I am feeling it.
You just got to get like Stern with the microphone volumes. You just got to have a board over there where you just turn everything down and then or hit a button or everyone's just force muted.
Yeah, but that's the thing, O'Shea, is that you notice that even sometimes on the broadcast, when everything's in the flow, you don't need that. And when these people do what they do, they don't use that and do that. They don't have to shut people up and tell people when to talk and when not to talk. It comes natural or it doesn't, or you fucking learn it. And I don't see that, right? It's like comedy timing. How are you going to teach somebody at comedy school fucking timing and the way to deliver a joke? You could try, but they have to fucking do it and learn it and feel into it. Right. So when they're on stage, they're doing a joke and they're feeling the reaction. They know something's got to come now after that because the way it just landed. Right. It's a feeling, man. It's like playing music. You can't teach somebody to play music as much as they have to learn to feel into it and almost become part of that instrument. And OTW's a musician, probably more than myself. So you could correct me if I'm wrong, but You know, there's an aspect in life, it seems, of like knowing or, you know, seeing and understanding and then actually being that, right? Just the same thing with this monogamy and all the rest of it, rights, freedoms. There's a state of even knowing and conceptualizing, knowing and understanding, and then actually being, where it just becomes a second nature.
In music, we call that the zone. When you're in
right,
a trance.
it's a flow
you're
state.
in a trance. You know, exactly. You're a flow state. That's exactly it. So I wanted to actually intervene here and ask you, considering you know what we were going through before with the right to travel. So okay, the mistake I made was I handed him my papers because I had actually told him that I wasn't obligated to you know, show him my identification. Right. This is what one of the first things I told him. He goes, well, yes, you do, because you broke the law. You were going 25 kilometers over the speed limit. And I go, well, I was exercising my right to travel, which means that I'm allowed to transport my personal property or private property from one place to another. And
what is with all that noise, man?
I don't know. It's not me.
You're
what?
That's why they call him Tommy Flow State, right? Because he's on the fucking ball, man. You know? That's why I say weed and THC is not for everybody. You know, I guess I've done so much drugs in the past that, like, even now it doesn't matter what kind of weed that I smoke. I'm in my kind of zone and flow. And then I got to try to work in with who's ever around me if possible. But, you know, majority of folks, it seems, shouldn't even smoke reefer and THC products, because, like, I know Tom is there right now sucking on one of those fucking pens, right? You don't know what that shit is. I'm convinced there's fentanyl in there, because half of you people are like, you're like Ian, you're sucking on that pen all day and you're like half asleep talking about We Are Awake TV, and then you just start buzzing and then shouting and breaking up. And there's just that weed. Maybe it's either the fentanyl in those cartridges or it's bad weed. Like Antoine says, I'm not smoking bad weed because I don't have these issues and problems. Go ahead, Mr. OTW. I don't know what Thomas has been up to for 8 months.
Who's Thomas? Are we talking about Lumatami here?
No, I'm talking about Thomas Aquinas. He's got a fucked up headset. He's buzzing. And then he's howling things out, breaking up, and then I got to mute him.
I'm moving property. Apologies.
There you go. He's like these people. You know, I can't get normal people just come up on a panel and talk about life and get to solutions. I got some guy riding around town with a vest on, with the mic open, right? Just bumping into shit, you know, shuffling, cracking it. Now he's laughing on top of it. Right? He thinks that's funny, that he's on his way to work to find the curve. Right? This is what he tells me he does for a living on top. He's got the balls to tell me he's at work. I go, what do you do? Oh, I shoot lasers around and find the curvature of the earth. I go, yeah, here we go. And who pays for that? Because I know what the answer is. I know what's coming after that. When I ask him who pays for it, right? It'd be me if I paid slave tax. And that's why I don't. I'm not paying for Tom to ride around and destroy my look what he's doing right now. He's got a double. He's got me on repeat. and then Wizard goes into Fabio mode. I mean, and you wonder why. Listen, let me not even get into it. I don't want to be insulting anyone today.
You want to measure the curve. Measure the curve of Fabio's forehead. Here you go. Perfect.
You know, you better leave that boy alone, Wizard. This is why you're going to be with Hecubus. For doing Fabio bits, talking about it. Yeah, you motherfucker, you look like Fabio. I don't know why you're talking all that shit. If you were to do that and people came in, they would know the difference. So you better stop talking shit about that boy.
I'm Fabio's son. I'm his
translator. You're wrong for that. You know you're not right for that, and I'm not going to get on board with that. You're not you know what? Illuminatomi's right. You're not a godly man. You might be worse than him. I'll give him one drunk 17-year-old. Okay. He might be worse. I'll give him a buy on that one. You know, I mean, let's be honest. Having sex with underage women is a cornerstone of American culture. James Dean did it. Henry Winkler did it. Harvey Weinstein did it.
Jeffrey Epstein.
R. Kelly did it. This is pure Americana, folks. All right, let me not, because then they'll say that I can't even do the bit, because the bit non-bit, because it really is a part of this sick culture, apparently, to, get the youngest and hottest woman and pretty much destroy her trust in men forever, because you're not the man you need to be to deal with a woman in that position and actually lead, let alone, the idea of whether it's ethical or not for other psychological reasons. I'm bad and wrong for being with an older woman, though. That's the bottom line, right? Young as hot as you can get them, that's fine. Winking or not. If the woman is a bit older than you, there's something sick and twisted about that. So let's get some final thoughts. I think I'm going to end. I'll set the next one. I got a stack of breaking news been piling up for like 2 days because I've had nothing but insanity here. It's just pretty regularly. What are you doing now, okay? Can I what?
Can you address the comment that says that OTW's fucked because he was speeding?
Why is he fucked? Bro, who cares? You guys are so fucking weak. Like, OTW's... you don't ask me to address it, and then when I'm addressing it, what do you think now? Do you want to address it? Are you doing some kind of thing? No, just tell me you want to address it. Go ahead, Sean, and address it. How is he fucked because he's speeding? What are they going to do? Take away benefits and privileges, suspend the license, turn you back into a man? Oh, man. That'd get really scary if they turned every slave back into a man where they actually were under God-given rights and laws and actually had to sacrifice sometimes or deal with consequences and be accountable, responsible. Oh, boy, that sounds real fucking scary. What world are you living in where you don't see what the fuck is here already and on the horizon? I don't care. Oh, you got tickets. Great. They got fucking warrants all up and down, all types of state of saying that I didn't appear. I'm sure. Right. Because I told them I don't care about your whole worldly system or the rest of it. I'm rebuking it. I don't have a problem with you, but you're not going to explain to me how I have to understand any of this. It's just never going to happen unless I go out of my mind any more than I have on this panel. There's no way for you to make me understand what cannot be understood by a man who understands right from wrong objectively, as far as I can perceive. So I don't give a fuck, bro. And I don't give a fuck about the punk-ass coward down there who thinks that if I go to jail or get killed, that it fucking matters at the end of the day. All right? I'm one incarnation out of fucking billions and trillions that have been here since the beginning of time in one dynamic of self-chosen slavery. So as long as I just choose the next right thing and that I'm out, what happens after that doesn't fucking matter. So you want to keep living in the world and of it and attached to your body and identify with your body and not understanding the metaphysical dynamic of creation and the eternal truth. Have at it, have fun, right? I think you're fucked if you don't do this, right? I think if you don't stand for rights, freedom, principle, spiritual faith behind it, to get through the pain and the questioning and challenge, I think that's when you're fucked. So again, they don't fear God and the consequences of not doing what's true and what's right. They fear a bunch of clowns in clown outfits and costumes, trying to act. State actors in costumes is who they fear, right? This is where we're at. And you wonder why I speak the way I do, because I'm so over it, having to get up every day and face this shit and go past it. And listen to people who've never faced it or gone past it cry about somebody else who's attempting to leave their slave cage that starts in the mind and heart and choice. Oh, you're fucked now. Yeah, and what? If he doesn't do it, he's double fucked. He's got to live in slavery and genocide and know he's a punk-ass coward the rest of his life. Coward dies 1,000 deaths. A real honorable man dies but once. The cliche is cliche for a reason, because it's the internal space of beingness. Right? They don't get the metaphysical, right? If you don't ever stand for something and become the man you're supposed to be and destined to be and born to be, you fucking live your whole life in a form of slavery, anxious and depressed and disempowered. It's not even worth living. That's what I've discovered. So when I discovered this space and went back, all the cliches from the great people all line up. Yeah, because there's one self. There's one state of consciousness and awareness. The rest of it is deception and delusion. In the world and of it, it's shaitan. There's no other way to describe it.
I mean, you got to figure it out now or figure it out in your next life. I mean, avoid it while you want, but it only prolongs shit.
That's why I say everybody here is on a journey one way or the other. I'm sure not all or even most are going to step out fully into it, but everybody's on a journey. And like, you know, they'll write the movie and tell you, once you get the truth, there's no going back. You know, it was like, oh, all I want is the truth. Right. You're a truther community. Okay. I'm going to give you the truth. Could you show me where that's wrong? No, I think that's true. Seems reasonable, logical. Makes sense. Now you got to go do it. Now's the hard part. It's not getting to become a truther community because you say you know the truth. What are you doing with it? So, you know, once I reveal my perspective is that's the truth, right? Or true enough. Once I reveal that, there's no going back. Now you got to live the rest of your life with what the fuck you saw and heard. And that's the game, right? They want to keep, essentially, or they don't even really need to keep it because most people ain't looking for it. But for the folks who are looking for it, they don't want something said to you to flip the whole script and power dynamic and have you step out into that, because then their game is over in your life, if nothing else. Because once you do that once or a few times, you feel like this whole thing is so big it can never be tangled with, and you step up to it and deal with it. It's like the bully on the schoolyard. Everybody's scared. Nobody's going to make a move. The one day somebody, right? I'm that guy. If you keep fucking with me, I don't want no problem. No one else going to stand up. I'm punching this motherfucker in the face at lunchtime and I'm running if I have to. If I'm really that worried about what he's going to do, we're going to get into it anyway. So I got to make a point here, you know? So once you stand up and stand out and make that first move and realize this motherfucker is really not even what I thought it was. This is a me versus me thing. I'm just scared of what I might do or what he might do to me. When we get to moving, I forget about all that. When we're in the moment, we get to moving, I forget about all that. Everything just kind of takes over and we do what's natural. So that's where the power is in every situation. I don't care if it's a fight at the schoolyard or going to court and dealing with these people one way or the other. Once you go past that fear and you're comfortable in what you do, but that's why you practice. You practice martial arts, so when it's time to deal with the low-life scum, it's just natural, you know, unless you're naturally inclined that way, which some people are. But practice makes perfect. So if this is a lifestyle, like Wizard says, then you got to be practicing it day in, day out, living and breathing it. So when the time comes to deal with it, it just comes natural. The more you get that flow into you and that way of living, there's nothing else to go back to, because the alternative is inferior, doubting, insecure, unready, right? Stay ready, ain't got to get ready. I say it all the time.
Yeah, it's like the guy that wants to. It's like the guy that's got a really nice car and he decides all of a sudden he likes his 1965 Corvair better. Why would you do that? Looks only. That's what tells you you're living in a materialistic world. Just because you want the good materialistic things doesn't mean you're living in a materialistic world. You can still use those materialistic things to get what you need out of life so you can provide for others in a better fashion. But to give that up and go back to something worse is detracting from both yourself and what you can do for others. That's just fucking stupidity, and nobody in the history of time has ever done that. Jay Leno only has all of those old vehicles because he has a new one. He doesn't give up the new for the old. No one does. You can keep acquiring the new things and keep giving away the old things, or keep the old things so you give away the knowledge like Jay Leno does. See, people think that just because you got all this money, you must have followed the materialistic ways of the world. No, there's a lot of rich people in this world that are not heathens and people that want everything you have. They just have a lot of nice things because they did it diligently in a good and profitable manner. Got to get over yourself and start realizing that old education is the problem. You need a new education. That's that problem with the cognitive dissonance, though. Everybody's it would ruin their lives to give up the conveniences to the truth, because that is exactly what I've expressed. Once you learn how to get to your freedom, you end up with more responsibilities, and nobody wants more responsibilities. They love this system and give up those responsibilities for their convenience. So why the fuck Would anybody give up the conveniences to take upon the responsibilities that they're already giving up because they want the convenience? It's just stupid.
Yeah, well, that's part of learning self-worth and self-esteem. They'll say, Paulie boy, I thought you're like Talcott, pro-labor, anti-work. Yeah, that might be the default position. We all have a path of least resistance in a way, but you learn the value of having to be somewhere and having to do something and perform a function and getting value out of that, right? So I don't perceive how folks could understand, if they understand that at all, understand that concept and not see how it carries over into every other aspect of their life. Being honest with your mate, being honest with yourself, standing for something in this world and having a sacrifice. You can't truly get to true self-esteem, self-worth, and self-knowledge until you access those certain spaces. So they want to argue with me about monogamy. Bro, I don't think you're going to access the space of beingness that I've accessed until you're completely honest with yourself and everyone around you. What you do from there, that's going to be your choice. But then you got to be honest with yourself. You know, are you really monogamous as a creature? Is that who and what you are? Is that your default space? Or are you choosing that because it's to go along to get along? See, I'm about freedom in all areas. I don't think you can have freedom unless you have self-esteem, self-worth, and self-empowerment, self-knowledge. I don't think you can have that unless you step out past your fears of what other people are going to think and or do to you for living true to yourself. This is cliche at this point. That's what makes a great man or woman, is they go past their fears and do what they know is true and what's right, despite what's going to be done to them or said about them. You know, so I don't see how we can't figure out that self-worth, self-esteem, and self-respect is directly connected to or proportional with how free you are, how much personal choice you have, how much opportunity is available, right? How much you're worthy in a certain marketplace. I don't care if it's men or women at a dating pool or if it's a financial situation. If you can't take yourself to a pool of men and women and be perceived as valuable as a mate, and you can't take yourself to a corporate situation and be perceived as valuable, we got issues, right? And I don't see how you could take yourself to either venue if you're not a principled man. You don't stand for what's true and what's right objectively in all situations that aren't subjective, right? Based on ethics, in which case I'll still argue there's an objective ethic we could all tap into. Go ahead, OTW. You want to say something?
Well, yeah, because it's bringing me back to that conversation I was having with that police officer. And I was in any other interaction that I would have had previously, I would have been intimidated by the police officer. But today, I actually felt like I felt like for some reason, I was in my, like, confident of what I was telling him. And I felt in my space, like I did not feel intimidated by him at all whatsoever. Actually, I actually felt that he felt intimidated by me because I was actually correcting him in his own job because he did not realize that he didn't know the law. And that made me come to the conclusion that, holy shit, we got police officers running around and they don't know the law.
Oh, yeah, no, not only do they not know the law, they don't know their own codes. So
yeah,
welcome to a world of incompetence. It's Starbucks, it's policy enforcement, it's legal team, it's doctor, it's the same self over and over again with various degrees of difference, obviously, but we live in a world of incompetence. And now we're going to have a little projection time. It's called the projection hour. So go ahead and do it all now. Everyone down there with a projection of what they think that my life is like, go ahead and start throwing them out, because I bet you're wrong.
He even told me.
One second, sir. I have to address my slave. This is a slave who has a history with me of every once in a while making false claims or projecting. So we have to get it right. If you had another woman over to Jen, she would leave you even if she plays along with it now. If that's the case, that's what's meant to be. If she tells me that something is cool and she's open to it, and then we do that, and then she switches up, well, then that's what's meant to be. And we'll have to work through that together or apart. Now, with that said, Jennifer's already had a situation where a woman could be involved. And, you know, she may be more open to that with that person. But I haven't met the person and I haven't even seen them. And I haven't really focused on it. So not only are you wrong, but there's an opportunity for a woman to be in a situation right now who I could probably put more energy and attention into that and have that happen. But I've just not really felt compelled to, because this person is like going through changes, we'll say, is what's perceived by me and Jennifer. So, you know, I've had another situation. I've had a few situations that have come up where we both decided, right? And actually, ironically, I pretty much decide based on the conduct of these people that I don't want to deal with it because it's more problems than it's worth. Okay? So don't fucking tell me about my life and her leaving or not. She's already told me that I've done more for her in fucking 8 months in various ways than anyone, including her father, has done all her whole life. You obviously wouldn't know what that's like. So I highly doubt that because somebody came in here doing what she said she's okay with, she's going to leave forever over me honoring who and what I am and what's real to me. Maybe for a short time, but she's pretty good at getting back from being triggered to an understanding, right? If I facilitate that and I'm not like, you know, being disingenuous or manipulative, which I don't. For me, I do that. So, yeah, you're just completely off. She's told me almost from the beginning she's open to that and wants that. Doesn't know if she could deal with that. So we've, you know, talked about that and kind of leaned into it to understand it more. And there's been other situations where I've pretty much not really gone ahead with it as much as I could, because maybe I didn't want that with those people, or maybe I feel that neither of us is really ready with each other or with those people. But you know, I'm not seeing the dynamic that you're saying, that if this happened, then that would happen. No, maybe that's your situation, but I'm not seeing that. And like I said, even if that is my situation, that's what's meant to be, right? What am I going to say about that? I'm going to honor myself, come across a genuine connection, have an understanding with her already, explore that, and then she leaves me forever. I guess that's what the fuck is meant to be, no? So, yeah, I'm not going to sit there and play that insecurity, fear of loss, fear of abandonment game with myself and others. People have value in people's lives, right? She has value in my life. I have value in her life. If that changes based on who I interact with, well, I guess somebody's confused or it wasn't as valuable as we all thought. And I'm not seeing that, right? Thoughts on any of that, expert panel?
Well, on that particular topic, not really, but I'm still stuck on the I'm still stuck on the other thing with the cop, because he just blew me away, man. It's just, it was crazy, especially when he told me he was going to arrest me, right, if I didn't provide him any identification. So I told him, I says, but if you arrest me, you're going to have to handcuff me and read me my rights, right? So he goes, yeah, you're going to. So in those,
I got to stop you again, OTW, because I got another slave here who's been hanging on my nuts for like a year.
What's wrong?
And just recently,
BB&B. What's up, BB&B?
Yeah, just recently broke bad too. And it always happens. So, in other words, you're right, not you are, but you're just a user, not a builder, spider monkey. I don't see how I'm using when I've been clear and open with my intentions from the beginning. I have not wavered from my intentions and my actions. I provided various forms of value in the relationship. And there's been no misunderstandings or miscommunications or manipulation along the way. So how am I using, and what exactly am I using for? Because I'd love to know. Right. So now you're here again like you are every day. I'm pretty sure I blocked you on my channel, but now you're a chain slave coming over from a restream just so you can throw digs at me from a chat. But you'll never come up on panel like a man and actually talk, right? Another bitch-ass motherfucker. So if you keep talking down there, I'm going to suggest politely that Sean of Source block your bitch ass for 5 minutes at a time until you get it right. Now, he may choose not to follow that suggestion, but I suspect he will, because you're of little to no value or consequence. You really don't show up on his channel to watch anything he does. You probably don't give a fuck about him as a person. You're just there to talk shit to me. So if I decide that that's not beneficial to me, he may decide it's not to him either, and then just fucking put you in a chamber for 5 minutes at a time to teach you about trying to go around shit to make your goofy ass non-points, thinking that you got more control and power than you do, and pretty much just being a source of like interference and chaos and hate, right? Because you really don't do nothing, create nothing, serve nothing, or stand for nothing. We know that. And you're a punk ass coward, like I said, who won't even come up and talk. So Sean, do you accept everything that I just said? Does that make sense to you? I don't want it to be like you have to understand that or else there's consequences. But does what I say make rational, reasonable sense to you separate from what like I perceive as beneficial to me?
Yeah, I mean, my question is what set Barney off exactly to go into this mode that
I'd like to hear that. Wouldn't you, Sean, since he's on your channel restreaming me, wouldn't you like to have him come up here and hear from him like a fucking man about what his hoe ass problem is and his feelers every day with me now?
Yeah, especially because I don't know if I've ever even seen him on panel or heard him. Heard him. Has he been on panel?
I don't believe so.
Wow. Because he used to be one of the most frequenting people in the chat. So I'm just wondering.
That's the thing. A year of chatting like a hoe constantly, but never really showing himself or doing nothing. And now I'm supposed to feel some kind of way because he caught feelings about me, and he just another Breaking Bad case like many before and seemingly after. So just line him up. Somebody who I haven't changed who and what I am, what I'm doing, told everyone why I'm doing what I'm doing at certain times so they can even understand it and not misperceive it. And he's one of the slow ones. So he's broken bad, recently. So now we got a year of chatting like a hoe. We're going to break bad recently, probably because I'm a pogo now. See, don't let you even get in a conversation with somebody who gets to some money or is known for something, because immediately you become somebody anti-streets, anti-truth, anti-rights. You just, star fucking, right? So that's usually it's like around those times. Where people start perceiving inferiority complexes. It doesn't help when I start telling people the majority of folks, as I perceive it, including myself, most of my life, are incompetent and will be loser failures and unsuccessful unless they change their ways and who they're around and what they believe and focus on. So, when those two things come together, you start to see the hater come out in everybody because they just sit in a chat for a year and don't go nowhere and don't do nothing in their life. It's just the same fucking shit over and over with no real change and no movement. So it's only a matter of time when they see Paulie Boy sitting in a washroom or a tent or wherever he's at, making different moves in different conversations, saying he's doing well, showing up every day, not homeless and picking up trash, then they're like, they start to get concerned for themselves. They start to get a little more angry. The fucking subconscious hater starts coming out of them. Because they see it in me, right? I'm pretty confident about myself and my life and where I'm at right now and where I've been going for a bit and how I feel about myself. And that bothers them. I don't mean to talk too much, Sean. Do you have any ideas about this? Would you like to cajole him, console him and cajole him and corral him and maybe get him up here to have a conversation like a fucking man?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would appreciate if he would just come up and speak, as opposed to... I mean, my whole chat is literally just him. I love Manel, but it reminds me of Manel just flooding the chat. It's not healthy or normal.
Right, because again, a lot of these folks, what I've come to find out is, I don't know if this is what you put out is what you get back, or what you get back is people who are in need of who and what you are, right, and what you put out. So I want to believe that I'm not so insane that what I get back is various folks who are insane with personality disorders and dysfunctions. I want to believe I'm here to help these people, but then I'd be doing a Talcott, so that's slippery slope territory, because he shows up every day or once a week and says he's here working with God and he's here to help everybody, and pretty much everyone who comes here, even people who are more competent than him, need his help. I'm not seeing that though, but he's not seeing it either. So you got to keep me honest and help me out, because every once in a while I ask, is this real? Do I have grown men almost twice my age sometimes who seemingly need a daddy in me to help them and work with them to be better when I come out of a hole? Bizarre, right? And then I go, I must not be insane and have ego because I'm constantly questioning my journey even while I'm on it, seeing all the results. It's almost like I'm checking my ego as we go along. So,
and may I point something out, guys? When I hit this platform, I had no problem calling Paulie daddy. I still have no problem calling Paulie daddy to this day because I know it's his platform. And I came to this platform for my own entertainment reasons. I find out that I get a good education from a younger man. So that supports the reason why I call him daddy. It isn't because he's my daddy, I need a daddy. But again, because he's providing a benefit that I see as a benefit, the only benefit. That's knowledge from his firsthand experiences. See, where he's got a success where he's able to get pulled over with placards on his car and then travel on after he got pulled over. I don't have that yet. So I have an open mind, an open heart, and an open ability to do the same thing. I just haven't acquired that part yet. However, I've been in amongst the ranks of sitting on a front porch with the sheriff's office right around the corner, sitting there shooting squirrels and birds and stuff.
Why are you doing that, Wiz?
I'm what they call a felon. So why would I have one of those such guns in my hand? Because that law doesn't apply to somebody who is living and sustaining himself. See, those gun laws are according to the Second Amendment and protection. They don't apply to conservation laws, wildlife and fisheries protections, agricultural things. So when you're traveling around in that nice car and it's not being used for commercial purposes and you're not in your person, you're actually an agricultural being. As I've explained, they describe animal includes man. So you're in your agricultural capacity and not a commercial capacity. Oops.
So the bad Barney person is now losing their mind even more. A year in, their resentment and bitterness comes out, just like it does with most of you boomers. How do I know you're a boomer? Because you got an Andy Griffith picture on your thing. You got an avatar of Barney Fife from Andy Griffith. So I know you're a boomer. I've known it from the beginning. All right. And so you suffer from boomer logic. You know, you think you're real logical and you understand life and your left brain, and you got problems with that other side. Usually, I'm drawing a profile from a limited information. I'm shooting in the dark here. All right. So you think you've worked hard all your life. You think I sat in prison for 10 or 20 years. None of that happened. Right. You've probably never dedicated yourself to completely to anything truly honorable. So you may have worked as a slave on someone else's vision and then retired and sat back on benefits and privileges and changed little or nothing about yourself, your interpersonal dynamic clearly, or the world you live in, right? So you don't stand for nothing. I didn't go to prison, right? I've done 100 days at jail and various few days here and there. There's a lot of points in my life where I didn't work on the books. And I've dealt with drug issues and other things like that. So there's been times where I work steady and, have had a good work ethic and good results. So I don't know how this applies to anything. You're basically just projecting all your bitterness and resentments. You probably have issues with your child if you have children. I suspect you have issues with one or all of them. And you're probably projecting a lot of this shit onto me that you deal with because you don't understand that other side of things. You think all there is to the world is working for 10 or 20 years. I don't know how long you worked for or whatever the vision was someone else gave you, and then retiring and using benefits and privileges, and then coming on my broadcast for a year, watching, waiting, and apparently undercover hating, and then breaking bad on me when you finally realized you worked your whole life to be a slave and sit there and be scared of having no value because you're using up your value, while I continue to be a source of value for others, therefore creating a stream of value in various ways. And that fucks with you and your ego is what I suspect. I can't prove any of that. And I can't get to knowing if I'm right or wrong because you won't ever come up and speak to me. So I'm throwing darts in the dark based on what I know about myself and other boomers with their boomer logic who I've interacted with, one of which being mainly my father, right? So he still tells a story how he's successful but never worked on himself, never stood for anything, and never changed anything in the world for the better. He just has some money in the bank, follows all the policy and code, never really understands himself, and never has any real deep relationships with women and children. So I suspect the same is true for you. That's how you present to me from pretty much day one. I mean, I've watched you fight and argue with various women in the chat. See, you got a thing with women, right? I've noticed it almost from day one. I don't think there's a woman down there you haven't gotten into it with at some point, scrolling, attacking them, going back and forth, acting like a belligerent child, even though you're probably close to twice my age. You're a pathetic loser, failure, embarrassment, like many before and after who seem to gravitate to this place for some reason. And you got personality disorder and issues with yourself and women is what I perceive. So if you'd like to discuss any of that, you come on up and tell me where I'm wrong. But if not, that's how it's going down on the record, because that's what the fuck you've shown. See how that works? Your thoughts on any of that expert panel? I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to get ready to do a regular broadcast. I don't think I'm going to go much more than 2 hours today. I always say that. And then we do 6 to 8 because I do like to put the time in for the people. And I get caught in an interaction. I don't want to just fucking cut it off and back out, even though sometimes I want to rip my hair out of my head. So I just kind of flow with it and go with it. But yeah, let's get to that.
Well, like I said, Top G said, thanks for going back and answering OTW's question. I just answered it. They're asking for a commercial identification while you're in your agricultural capacity. Until you learn that, you will always give up an identification. RT said that, well, if you don't give them identification, then they give you 2 tickets. Well, you show me a law that says I have to have an identification, because the law I know says the holder is the liable party. And that identification on the top of that card is not yours. It says the state of, and then a state. It's their property, and they are holder of a record, and you are holder of a portion of a record. They are the original obligor, and they gave you a secondary obligation. Give it back to them. Now you're not a holder. Get it? You're volunteering. Give it up. If you give up anything in life, give up that person and don't carry it with you. Period. I yield. I'll see everybody later.
See you,
Thank
Wizard.
you, Wizard. So this creature still doesn't get the game, right? As far as it's perceived, right? So this is your weak ass explanation for why you're never going to do and be shit. And I say it's nonsense. OTW Spag got ticket in. We'll pay her to get bent over and spanked because this is Satan's world, not the Most High. Satan's world, right? Even though there's a connection as within, so without. So I could argue both ways. Shatan's world, right, as you put it, is out there. That has nothing to do with in here, right? Unless you're willing to concede that out there is the control over in here. So if this is Shatan's world and it's out there, well, then in here must be God's world, right? Or access to it. So don't tell me about choosing to let your environment, you be a product of your environment, right? Your environment influences you so much you lose touch of yourself in your inner space. That's a you problem, right? So this may be Shatan's world out there, and it may have control over everything out there. As long as I have control over everything in here, the two will be whatever's meant to be is what I'm walking with, right? So bent over and spanked or not, it doesn't change the fact that I used free will to make a personal choice that was true and correct, and I'm on the right side of history. Isn't that a karmic law or a karmic process? So you're an ends justifies the means person, I just told you. I don't live that way. Right? The journey justifies the means, and the means dictate the end. So you could kill me right now or put me in a box right now. That's not going to dictate the end, what you do to me in this world, right? Because in my world, in the inner space, I have control over me and what I've done and not done. So that's how I see that working, right? Okay, but the point is, you're making an inference that OTW and others should just comply because this is Satan's world and there's nothing you could do here. That's the inference, no? So if your inner space and your world and your soul is not of the devil, and of the world, in it, not of it. If your kingdom is not in and of this world, then why even make the statement? We know that. The inference is we should do little to nothing because in this world, while we're here, we got to be of it or they're going to spank us. I don't live that way. I haven't lived that way from the beginning, and I'm not going to live that way now as a grown fucking man. So, all right, give me some last words. I want to get the hell out of here, and then we got to do. I still got to do another 2 hours. Went 3.5. I still got to do at least another 2. You know, that's the program. I hold myself to that. I can do whatever I want, but I got to hold myself to what I've created for myself and others.
Thank you. And OTW, there's just, I guess, stuff more for you to pick up on or whatever. You did a great job, especially if it's one of your first interactions with the police standing on rights. Anyway, see y'all.
All right, Thomas. Okay, bye. I'm going to end this one. I'm going to set up for the regular broadcast. I'm tired of going to final words and hearing dead silence. I'm not going to sit there over and over again, hundreds and thousands of times, playing games and spoon feeding and wasting time and energy and attention. I've done enough of it. In this moment, today, right now, might change 5 minutes from now. This is what happens when you start early with the insanity. You get over it quickly, midday. Yeah, I'm going to go set it now. I'll see you folks over there. Maybe an hour max, probably not even. You got to be quick in this game. I stay ready. I got to get ready, and I'm quick in this game, even with the breaking news and all the rest of it. So, all right, I'll set it now. See you folks over there. Official Talcati and sign off. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Always much love.